And welcome back to Manifesting Your Dreams with Pablo Miguel. I'm here with Jeff. We're having a great time in Las Vegas. He's going to be leaving soon to Arizona, where it's a little bit cooler than here, right? Like 1 or 2 degrees cooler than here. But we're going over the book Think and Grow Rich. This week we're focusing on the first chapter, which is thoughts are things. Okay, and we are thinking. This is one of the things we can't stop. Sometimes we want to stop thinking, right? But it's like we have a drunken monkey in our brain constantly thinking about different things, and sometimes we're very proactive on our thinking and sometimes we're a little reactive, right? So one of the key secrets for actually manifesting our dream life, manifesting what we like to have in our life, is to be a little bit more proactive and directing our thoughts in the direction that we want our life to go. Because every single thought that we have is actually creative. And you were sharing in the previous segment about one of your sons and how he manifested that trip to Universal Studios. So has he done that again at other occasions that he's been able to say, this is going to happen and make it come through, that you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, it happens pretty much ongoing, but the last one that I can think of, this just happened here not too long ago, is that Zach is his own kind of kid. He likes what he likes, and that's how it is. And he's into like music. He loves music, loves going to concerts. And Stephanie and Zach had a couple. It was the beginning of May. They went to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift started her tour in Phoenix, and they went to the concert. And they both came home. And when Zach has something on his mind, he never shuts up about it. Never, ever, ever. He goes at every different angle, and to make a long story short, he was like, I need to go to this again. He didn't say, I want to go to this again. And that's a good thing that Pablo and I talked about, that thoughts are things, but the greatest way to find out how you're really thinking is to listen to the words coming out of your mouth. When you want something, that just means you want it. That doesn't mean you're going to manifest it. If you choose, or you're saying, I'm going to have this, it shows up in your life. But you got to be ready for the actions to take. So with Zach, he says, I'm going to Taylor Swift again. And so he started to search and search and search, and where he's going to be, where she's going to be again. And here's what happened. To make a long story short, I think it's September of this year, Stephanie and Zachary are going to be flying into Minneapolis, staying at a relative's house, and 2 of the relatives he talked into going to the concert with him. So there's 4 people going to the concert with Zach. So he's going to Taylor Swift again. So if anybody in Minnesota is watching this and going to Taylor Swift, Zach will be there.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And you know, we usually describe it like now it's part of his identity, right? And they say that is the strongest force in the universe is for us to actually be congruent with the identity that we created for ourselves, right? So when you have somebody like Zach that's saying, hey, this is going to happen, right? Nothing can stop him, right? And at the same time, we have other kids that say like, oh, I want this to happen, but every time I want something, then it doesn't go through, right? Or every time, you know, my dad says he's going to take me to whatever, then it rains or something happened, right? So that became part of that kid's identity, where he doesn't believe that something is going to happen. The beautiful thing, just like you're saying, we have the power to choose. We have the power to choose. So if we don't like something in our lives right now, guess what? We can change it, right? We don't have to just say, oh, this is the way I am. We can change it. And the same way you can change your identity, where you can start saying, I manifest things in my life, right? What I want to create, it actually happens, right? This is going to happen. And the way he said it is like, this is going to happen, is like you go like, I better get out of the way, you know, because he's gonna make that happen. So thoughts are things. So what is something that you like to create in your life? What is why don't you just start making a list, right? So if there were no limitations, right? you have to start dreaming, right? And sometimes when we were kids, I remember when I was a child, I was dreaming all the time. Oh, I can do this, or I can do that. And then eventually, as we get adulterated, right, we become adults, we became adulterated, right? Suddenly, like, well, this is not realistic, yeah? or I shouldn't be asking too much, or other things don't have anything. Who am I to get all these things, right? But you know what? We have to start dreaming somewhere and just start making a list. Anytime you have a thought of, I'd like to drive this car, or I'd like to visit this place, or whatever, get your notebook and just write it down. It doesn't hurt at all to write it down, right? That doesn't mean you're going to go after that goal, of that outcome, of that objective, but at least write it down, because then you know what happens? You may think about that again, right? And then you may think about that again, and then you suddenly say, you know what? Maybe this is something I really should manifest, right? So keeping things, writing them down is very, very powerful. And just like you mentioned, pay attention to the words you use. And the best way to do that is something that we don't do, is to listen to other people. You know? Start paying attention to the words other people use, right? And they become a mirror of ourselves, right? They become a reflection on ourselves. And you were sharing something with me a couple of days ago, right, about listening more. So why don't you share a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, it's something that I had learned through who you hang out with is who you become. And when Steph and I had gone to Tony 11 years ago, we started to hang out with people like Pablo and other people that volunteered. Some of my greatest peer group is part of the fire team, is part of people that I've met in these types of situations where they're open-minded and they're like-minded. And one of the things that I had heard is that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should listen twice as much as we talk. And that's what we were talking about.
Exactly, exactly. And there's so much value when we start paying attention to people. There's so many things that we have in common, things from our past, from our future, from relationships. But if you start paying attention, most people are worried so much about what they're going to say, they're not really even paying attention to what other people are saying. And for instance, when somebody says like, hey, let's do this, and they say try, right? Mm-hmm. When they say, oh, I'm going to try, or I'll try to be there. Or even, it could be the words they say, it could be the text they send you, right? Sometimes you can read it on post, and when somebody says they're going to try to be there, pretty much they're saying, I'm not going to be there, but I don't want you to tell you no. So I'll say, I'll try, right? So that's a word that we want to, deliberately, we want to eliminate from our vocabulary. And you know why people say those things? Because they're afraid to say no.
Yeah.
Right? And this is something that is going to be a powerful day in your life when you're just honest with yourself and with people around you. And if you really mean no, you have to say no, right? Just say no. Don't worry about it, you know? Because it's like when people say they're going to be somewhere and then they don't show up. Well, the fallback is even worse, that if they have said, you know, I'd love to be there, but I just have another commitment, I cannot make it, right? Try is a terrible word. I can't. Right? I can't. When people say, oh, I can't, oh, I can't. It's you can't or you choose not to. Mm-hmm. Right? And because when you really think about times in your life when you really, something was very important to you, right? And there was no choice. It was like you were going to make that happen, right? Mm-hmm. We all been in situations like that. Hey, this is going to happen. And then you did everything you could, you put 100% on your part, and then somehow the universe kind of conspired in your favor, and at the last minute, at the last second, something happened where you actually were able to do whatever you wanted to do, right? But when we start setting up our outcomes with doubt, or I hope this is going to take place, or I wish that's going to take place, there's no energy, right? And you were talking about energy when you listen to people, right? The way they talk, they put energy on what they say. Our words are just the tip of the iceberg. Mm-hmm. Our words are just the tip of the iceberg. That's why when somebody says something, you can pretty imagine what the rest of the iceberg, what is there. So you are starting a new project in your life, right? Is there something you'd like to share with our viewers? Some of the direction that you move in? Some of the things that you're going to be manifesting, because you're going to go, this is something very interesting. This book, Think and Grow Rich, we're going to go over at another point how it came about, but it's a recipe from the most successful people in the world, things that they were doing, and they didn't even know what they were doing, right? So my mom, she's Sicilian, she's one of the best cooks I ever going to meet in my life. And it's like if you ask her for a recipe, she kind of like, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then she's like unconsciously competent where she puts the right amount perfectly, right? But have you ever done something with a recipe and you forgot an ingredient, right? And then you were like, man, this doesn't really come out that well, right? Like, what? You forgot the nutmeg. Every week we're going to go over one of those ingredients. What does it take to actually manifest anything in your life? So when you apply the formula and you apply it perfectly, you're going to get the same results that anybody else got, right? So we're starting with an idea, but then we're going to move over how we're going to make that idea over 13 weeks, how you're going to make that idea into a reality. So share a little bit about your ideas or where you're moving forward, what you like to manifest in your life.
Sure, sure. And I'm just going to step back just 1 second because there's something that I do want to share because we were talking about words.
Absolutely.
And you talked about, the hope and, can't.
Exactly.
And the one word that we use all the time, it gets used universal, day after day after day, is the word have. I have to. I have to. And one of my mentors, Marcy Locke, she's collected a list of words that you should be conscious of and not put them in your vocabulary. And a lot of people, a lot of moms will go, well, I have to pick the kids up from school. It's like, no, you don't have to pick them up. You can have somebody else pick them up. You can have them walk home. You can have different things. But think about the word, I have to. I have to do this. When somebody tells you you have to do it, most people are stubborn.
Oh, yeah.
They get stubborn and like, I'm going to do the opposite. That's why kids that are teenagers, when your parents are like, you have to do this, it's like, no, I don't. And they typically do the opposite. So every day that you say you have to, you're telling yourself that. And all of a sudden, here you're having this dilemma in between you going, I have to do this. Like, I don't want to do it, but I have to. And that's just not part of a life that we should be living. So be really conscious of the words that you use. The words that you use are your life. And if you can start changing them to like, I choose to, or I want this and I'm going to go get it. It's just one of those things. Think about the word choose, put that in your vocabulary very often. And it'll be funny on how things will change for you.
That is amazing that you said that. Because yes, let's say I have to pick up the kids, right? And what if I say, I'm going to enjoy picking up the kids today? Right? So suddenly it's like I'm giving a different direction to my brain because my brain is going to say, well, if you're going to enjoy it, how can you do that, right? And then maybe you put a song that you like or whatever, or maybe I could pick up the treats, maybe, bring something that they're really going to enjoy, right? So if we change our lives, the things that we're going to do anyway, right? So if we're going to do it anyway, why not do them in a way that we enjoy, that we are choosing to do them, right? Versus just like, oh, I hate what I'm doing. Or, great idea. I like that. I like that very much.
Just wanted to share that because I know we were talking about it. I wanted to finish the loop.
Absolutely. Yeah, words are so powerful. And what is even more powerful is when we are conscious about the words that we use and we deliberately choose the words that we use to create the life that we like, right? And I call that transformational vocabulary. And for instance, as you release 40 pounds, I release 50 pounds, and it's like every day, basically, we run into somebody that they say they want to lose weight, right? They want to lose weight, right? And then I'm going like, well, I don't want to lose anything, So what happens when you lose something, right? Then you find it. You want to find it, but then people say like, I lose the weight and I get it back. I lose the weight and I get it back. So I made a choice there that I said, I'm not going to lose the weight, I'm going to release the weight, right? So when you release something, you don't want to see it again, right? And that's how I was able to actually release that weight and never gain it back. So words are powerful. What is another word that you have noticed that makes a difference? Either a positive word that you use or the word that people use regularly that maybe they say, I hate to.
Yeah.
Right? When they say, I hate to, right? I hate to.
Yeah.
Well, what does that do to your immune system?
I think it has a lot to do with, if you start talking about words, some of the words that are really, think of the person that gets up on a Monday morning. Monday sucks. What if Monday was just another great day that you're alive? What if you changed your expectations for appreciation? You just appreciated that you got up that day and appreciate that you do have say you have a job that you don't like. That's a great indication that you are waking up in the morning, you are having thoughts about something that you dislike, and you have the opportunity to choose to find a different job or choose to start your own career. So really look at that stuff. So with words, you know, when you listen to somebody talk and they say Monday sucks, thank God it's hump day, and thank God it's Friday, and every other Friday it's even better because they just got paid. That's the indications that maybe you're not living the life that you want to. How would you like to wake up every morning thinking it's Saturday morning? How would you like to have that day? How would you like Mondays to feel like Saturdays? That's your choice. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's your choice. You're the one that chooses to go to that job.
And you know what? And if you have to go to that job, why not make it a great day? So gratitude is a key. This is something that actually people that manifest things in a traumatic way have in common, is the attitude of gratitude, right? Do it on a gratitude of gratitude. So maybe maybe there's things you don't like about that job, but what are you grateful for because of that job? Number one, right? So focus on things that you're grateful for. And number two, how could you make it a great day? If you have to be there anyway, right? You say, okay, I have to be there. Well, I choose to be here because I want to get paid today. But how can you make it a great day, right? What things can you do? And there's always something that we can do. See, this is something that I totally believe in. It's like there's always something. It could be small, it could be large, but there's always something that we can do that can make a difference, right? And whether it's just like when you meet somebody, say, hey, hello, how are you? You know, with a big smile, with a sincere smile, or when somebody asks you, how you doing? Answer that question with a sincere smile versus just like, oh, another Monday or whatever, and contribute to that depressing environment, if you will, right? Just put some energy into it. Be the one that brings up the energy in the room, right? Versus being the one that is complaining about it. And you know what, when you were describing some of the words that we shouldn't be using, it made me think of the word victim, right? It made me think of the word victim, right? So if you're a victim, you're going to have a trouble manifesting. I can promise you that, right? Because victims don't manifest much, right? So every time you feel in a situation like you're a victim, that somebody has the upper hand, somebody has control over your life, it's like, what can you do to actually change that idea, change that identity, if you will, where you're actually not a victim. You're creating that amazing day, right? Because you know what? There were people that went to sleep last night and didn't wake up this morning, right?
150,000 of them.
How many?
150,000.
150, is that like in the US or worldwide?
Worldwide.
Okay. So 150,000 people, they wish they had that terrible job today, right? That job that sucks, that they were alive and they could enjoy that. So that would make it every day, that would be a reason for us every day to wake up with an attitude of gratitude. So with that attitude of gratitude, we're going to go into a break and then come back for the next segment. We're going to continue manifesting your dreams with Jeff Lobeck and Pablo Miguel. We'll see you in a minute.